What's going on, everybody? We are back and we're going to get started. And so today, I want to let you know that this is not for everybody, but it's, I believe, for you. I believe it's divinely aligned to reach whoever's watching. And so if you're here today, if you're seeing this, I want to welcome you. We're going to get right into it. And as you can see, we'll be talking about size doesn't matter. Go ahead and put that in the comments. Size doesn't matter. And say, why is that so important? Because as we're in our journey to creating and building and returning, that's what we've been talking about. God has called us to create. And so you can't allow size to dictate or determine what the gauge and the necessity of your assignment is. A lot of people, they look at numbers, and we're going to get into it. I don't want to move ahead, but we're in this age of social media. It's all about likes, numbers, subscribers, and the followers. That's what we think it's about. That's what we made it about. And a lot of times people allow that to hinder them from pursuing or starting or walking in the direction to what God has called them to. So let's get right into it today, all right? The seed, somebody say that. The seed is the strategy. You were never called to size, you were called to assignment. But God marked you before He created you, when He gave you your purpose, when He was making you, preparing you for your purpose. He knew that the size was not the determining factor of your assignment. Do you know that some of the greatest and biggest and successful movements started from a small start? Do you know, had people allowed numbers, right? Had people allowed the start to dictate the momentum of how things could grow, a lot of people would not be where they are today. I heard someone say the other day, Jesus uh, was not so much just working and assigned to church. He was a businessman. And his disciples, he's gathered them because they were businessmen. It's 12 of them, and they changed the entire world, right? So I want to let you know size does not dictate your assignment. Your small start, your small step towards launching or building, that is not anything to discourage you. That should be motivation that I took the first step. I've obeyed what God has given me to create and do. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. All right? Who you're called to. You have to understand this. You're not called to everybody. I'm not called to everybody. Everybody is not my assignment. Everybody's not your assignment. You have to know who you're called to. For the longest, a lot of people always say I have old soul or whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is I can't be worried about trying to get the older generation or no. It's not about that. It's about who has God called and assigned me to. Where has He placed me? Who has He placed in my vicinity? A lot of times we think, oh, I gotta go to this area, I gotta go here to do that, I gotta do no. You'll be surprised. The assignment, the work that God has given you, you oftentimes think you have to go to start it. But right where you are, there's a need for what He's calling you to do, right? So you need to start with one. I've realized you never know who's watching. Never know who's watching. One young man, see him in a story, he said, I've been watching you. It was crazy because the people that, that you may think is your audience really don't be the people that are being impacted by what you're doing. Have a lot of people scroll and watch, and that's cool. Do that. Scroll and watch. May not be for you, but someone is seeing what you're doing, seeing how you're speaking, seeing how you're carrying yourself. How do you handle conflict? Are you one way on social media and then another way in person? A lot of these content creators, that's another thing with content creation. We don't know other outside of the content that they're posting who that person really is, right? Don't know nothing about them, but their content, the image that they show us. A lot of people, like I said earlier, we're in this social age, digital time, and everyone's doing things for likes and clicks. But you have to do what God has called you to do. Can you still operate and walk in the assignment that you said you're called to when no one's watching? Will you still host the event if nobody shows up? And you say, well, why would I do that? Why would I waste time with preparation and planning for no one, for nothing? But it's not about that. It's about your obedience to walk into the call. Let's move on. I can stay there. I can stay there. Where you plant determines how you grow. Somebody said that. Where you plant determines how you grow. I wrote something down in preparation for this. Our mind is a garden, right? And our thoughts are seeds. And whatever we plant, the soil doesn't judge. It only produces what was sown. In other words, your seed matters. Where you plant, where you place yourself, surround yourself, the environments, the people, the community, that matters. And I'm sorry, I may lose some people here, but we often operate based off what was, what happened, what worked. And that's cool. But you have to be able to pivot and move forward, right? You can't stay in a place where it's not producing, whether that's school, work, home, whatever. You have to be where you're going to produce. If there's anything limiting your production, if there's anything limiting your creativity, there's anyone. So you could love someone, you could have friends, have great relationships, but if people are not on the same mindset and alignment of growth and producing, maybe time for you to replant, plant your seeds in another ground. The ground matters. Where you're placing the seeds, where you're sowing, where you're creating, where you're building, where you're collaborating. That matters. You need to have good ground. Let's go ahead and move on through it, all right? The last point, I want you to know you're a builder, you're a creator, and you're a seed. I want to let you know I'm a seed. I'm here today speaking to you because I'm a seed. Said, how are you a seed, Jaylin? I'll tell you how. I was sown into, I was poured into, right? Not only that, I was able to stay planted and allow God to process me, grow me, develop me, and to the next. We don't want to go through the process. We want the platform, but we don't want the process. Stay planet, stay committed to what God is giving you. This is the time. Seed is a time. Time is a seed. Seed is a time. Is time. However you want to say it. All right. Like, share, tag someone who needs to hear this message. Community is in the link. Appreciate you for joining us. And until the next time, we'll be back. Peace.